Hey guys, thanks for joining me tonight. It's cold outside, it's soup weather, and the family's wanting potato soup. So that's what we're going to cook tonight. So you guys join me, and we're going to get this cooked up. All right, so we've got our pan right here. It's sitting here heating up. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to add a half stick of butter. We're going to start letting that melt down in there. Potato soup is one of the easiest soups you can make, and it makes a pretty good amount, so you can feed several people. Delicious. I love potato soup. Even have enough for leftovers usually. You can freeze it, warm it back up later, have it again whenever you get ready for it. All right, we'll let that finish melting there. Got the butter melted down, so I'm going to add one medium onion that I diced up. And we're going to just cook that until the onions get tender. I'd say about 5 to 10 minutes or so. We'll give that a good sauteing and let that cook those onions down just a little bit. We've got our onions cooked down about the way I like it, so I'm going to add 3 cloves of garlic freshly minced. Get all of that goodness in there. And I'm going to cook that for about 2 minutes or so. Just enough to kind of let that blend in there and kind of work those flavors around of that garlic. We'll give that just a couple minutes there. Now I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour. And I'm just going to work that flour around. Just keep stirring it until it kind of smooths out and everything kind of gets creamy looking. Boy, I tell you what, that smells fantastic. Have I ever told you I love the way onions smell frying in the pan? All right, so that's starting to look pretty good. Got our flour about the way we want it there. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my potatoes. So I've taken about 4 pounds of russet potatoes, peeled them, diced them up, washed them off. We'll go ahead and add that in. There we go. I'm going to add about 5 cups of chicken broth. And we'll just go ahead and add it all. That's about 6 cups. I'm going to add about a cup of heavy cream, maybe a cup and a half. I'm going to add 2 cups of milk. I'm going to add a teaspoon of chili powder. We're going to go ahead and add some salt. And we'll add in some black pepper. You guys can figure out how much you like on that part. I think that black pepper helps season it up pretty good. All right, so we're going to basically start bringing this up to a boil. We're going to let all that cook until the potatoes get tender. And usually what I do is I find a large chunk and I'll take a fork and stick it in there, and it's a kind of a feel thing, but you'll know when it gets done. The fork will go in there pretty easy. So we'll go ahead and bring that up to a boil and let the potatoes cook. Our potatoes been cooking for about 15 minutes or so, and I've checked them and they're starting to get pretty tender. So what I've done is I've turned the heat down. I'm going to let this cool down just a little bit, and then I'm going to take about 4 to 6 cups of this mixture, and I'm going to dip out of here, and I'm going to run it through a blender or food processor or whatever you have, and then I'll put that back in here, and what that's going to do is it's going to cream it up. It's going to make it real creamy. So I'm going to go ahead and get that run through a food processor. All right, I've got my mixture run through the food processor, so we're going to just put that right back in the bowl. You can see how creamy that is. We'll get that in there. And we'll stir that around, kind of get everything blended good. Yeah, you can see the texture, how it really thickened it up. All right, so we're going to bring the heat back up on that for just probably 5 minutes. All right, so I've cooked me about 6 pieces of bacon, and I've coarsely chopped it up. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to the mixture. Get the rest of that out of that bowl there. There we go. And we're just going to stir that in to the mix there and get that blended. There we go. All right. Now the last thing I'm going to add is about a cup or so of sour cream. I ain't measuring. There we go. Now we're going to give that a good stir. We're going to let that heat up with that sour cream in there. And I've got it on about medium heat right now, so it's not going to get real hot. But we're going to let that blend in there. Probably about 5 minutes or so. And then we'll go ahead and make our bowl. Let's go ahead and get some of this in our bowl. Man, I tell you, that looks delicious. If you're not a fan of potato soup, you're missing out. Of course, we're going to have some cheese. Let's put us some bacon on that. And then we'll just top it off with a few little chives. It's supper time, friends. And there you have it. A good old bowl of some creamy potato soup. Hope you guys try it out. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.